good evening, everybody. Sammy Thunder here. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to Start of the Week. We're back after a little bit of a hiatus, holidays, and health get in the way of things, but that's just how it is. So we have a great episode tonight. Got some contributions. We're going to jump right into it, and then I actually have a pickup that I'll share with you guys if you haven't seen it already. I showed it yesterday on or 2 days ago, on my Vintage Chillin' Chat. Couldn't wait to get this. I was kind of watching the tracking number daily, almost like every hour because it was so close, and it finally arrived. So more to come with that. We're going to jump right into the keynote. I think we have 5 contributions, so let's go ahead, get right into it. All right, guys, so here's the first one we have. It is submitted by my buddy Jeremy. So this one, you could see the pop report has an asterisk next to the 224. When it comes to the 1930s cards, I'm not an expert. I don't know really much about that decade of cards. You know how I am. I collect certain players, and those players that I collect don't really fall into the 30s. So I did the best I can on researching this, but the 1934 to 36 Diamond Stars, Jeremy has this beautiful Carl Hubble in a 5, and a little bit of a background on this. This was produced by the National Chicle Company of Cambridge, Massachusetts. Had 108 cards released in the set. Lefty Grove is, based on what I've seen, is considered the key card from the set, but it has plenty of Hall of Famers. On the back, they actually have baseball tips, player bios. It was credited to a single newspaper editor named Austin Lake. And, it's considered a complicated set with many changes throughout the 3-year printing span that they had. What I understand is that there was like a variety of different type of printing that was done for it. Some brighter, some darker tones. Like an Art Deco style, which kind of really makes this set stand out. The colorful, the beautiful colors that are applied here. And we look at the Carl Hubble in particular. He's leaning up against the fence, which I'm guessing leads to a field. You got the factories and this what looks to be like a skyscraper in the distance there. Just a really interesting design scheme altogether. I didn't look too far into the artwork and as far as how they came up with it, but an Art Deco style really kind of hammers it home. And so again, 34, 36 Diamond Stars, I've seen them. I just don't know a lot about them. They're just very unique looking, and I know they're very popular amongst collectors. So going back to the pop report, like I said, I had an asterisk. When it comes to sharing pop report, I go by the person who submitted the card to me. I go by the company that it's holdered in. So this is SGC. SGC, the way they cataloged this, it looked like they have the Carl Hubbles kind of split into 3. They had 1934. 1935, and then they had just a blank entry for the cell to represent the year, so I don't really know what to do in this case. So I took the most popular of the 3 in terms of pop report, and I think that was the 1936, and recorded it as pop report of 224. As far as the pop for this particular aspect, there's 25 and there's 40 graded higher. The other 2, the 34 and the blank year entry field, had a lower pop report. Maybe there's something that differentiates. Maybe there's a variance. I'm not 100% sure. But Jeremy, I appreciate you sharing this with me. The Diamond Stars, it's a beautiful set. Like I said, an Art Deco style. The colors, the design, the color, the choice of what they choose for the backgrounds, really unique. I love the shaping of everything. It's so concrete as far as the stylistic aspects of this card. So really cool. Appreciate you sharing this with me, and look forward to more submissions from you in the future. Whoop. Sorry about that. Let's go on now to my buddy Phil, who submitted before. I learned a little bit more about this set, and I'm actually intrigued because I might look at getting the Tom Seaver and the Willie Mays for myself in the future. I've always been kind of hesitant about these. I don't like the fact that they're flattened in a slab, but um, I guess in some way, I mean, you can't slab a box, so you have to. That's the only way to do it is to flatten it. But I know people that collect these that collect them raw and collect them graded. So Phil has the Hank Aaron 1971 Milk Duds, as you guys know. Apparently, this Milk Duds became the official candy of Major League Baseball in '71, which is why you see that this is licensed all the way through. You got the caps of the Atlanta Braves with Hank Aaron. So nothing is being taken out. Nothing is being airbrushed out. So that's pretty cool. So interestingly about this set is that 10 of the 37 National League players were Chicago Cubs. And I don't know what the proof is to that as far as why that is, but some people speculate it's because the Milk Duds factory was in close proximity to Wrigley Field. Another interesting fact: the Milt Pappas Milk Duds has pictured him as an Oriole, which is kind of unusual, given that, based on what I've read, he last played for the Orioles in 1965. He was traded to the Reds for Frank Robinson. Then he was traded to the Braves, then traded to the Cubs in 1970. And so, given, again, the proximity to Wrigley Field, not sure why they couldn't get him in a Cubs uniform, but it is what it is. Maybe someone could share some more details about it as far as why, but just an interesting observation that somebody made. But yeah, this is a very popular set. People love the food issued stuff. Milk Duds, I think it's a very, really a cool looking box design overall. I mean, the color scheme is just so unique. And obviously, they've slightly altered their color scheme over the years. It's become a little bit more orange than this kind of tan, brownish mixture. So, but it's just an overall popular, cool-looking card or box that people collect. Big names are in it: Mays, Aaron, Seaver, big names. So this is a cool one, though. Phil, appreciate you sharing this. I don't know if you're building the set. I know some people like to, but appreciate you sharing this, and I look forward to some of your more contributions. All right, moving on to Brian, who submitted the 1936 R3112 Johnny Mize. So this one's a little bit of a mystery from what I looked up. It's a 4x6 or roughly a 4x6 photo or card, however you want to classify it as. They claim the manufacturer is unknown, but it is cataloged as the National Chicle Gum issue, despite any print of that showing on the card. This is a set that does not feature Babe Ruth, and most names can be either found printed or, most names printed are in cursive font, but some are in are not, like in this case, the Johnny Mize is not in cursive. So, kind of it's a really nice looking card. This one in particular is well centered. 31 in the pop report with SGC, 8 and a 4, and only 3 higher. So Brian definitely has one of the more premier looking Johnny Mize cards or photos out there. And it's kind of a nice, colorful, the set has added color to it, which kind of really made it stand out. So, yeah, a really cool looking card. I appreciate you sharing, Brian. And again, I look forward to seeing some of more of your contributions. Let me make my camera a little smaller here. There we go. And we'll expand it again in a second. So this one's interesting. This kind of steps outside of my outside of my scope of knowledge when it comes to these, but I did some research on this. James submitted the 1878 Huntley and Palmers biscuits, showcasing baseball. Now, without really knowing too much about this beforehand, I thought, all right, it's a biscuit company or baking company of some sort. I see Reading in London on the card itself. So I thought that's interesting. It's a British company, so what are they showcasing baseball for? But let's look into this. So 1878, Multisport issued postcard set. They, you know, wanted to represent a lot of different sports. The batter, when I did some observing on it, has an HPC logo printed on the shirt, which likely represents the Hunter and Palmers company. Um, the baseball postcard was unique for a British company to showcase. Again, even though baseball kind of had some sort of ties to some old British sports. We'd have to go back further on that, but that's sort of the understanding there. 3x5 postcard size, roughly. It's like 3x4 and change. The backs are actually really unique in that parts of it are printed in French. So a British company with French printing in the late 1800s, and with the French translated to potentially promote or highlight the Paris Exposition, which I think happened the same year. Now, the difficulty is whether or not these were printed before or after the exposition. I'm not sure. But nevertheless, kind of unique, interesting to note that a British company was highlighting a French event. And Huntley and Palmers biscuits, I'm guessing must have had some sort of endorsement deal with maybe the Paris Exposition. I mean, it wouldn't be surprising for a company to cross-promote themselves, I guess, through other nations. Other nations liked what they were getting from like the biscuits they were getting from from England. Paris Exposition, great opportunity to promote your brand. Absolutely. I don't know. Speculation, I guess. And let's see. Lastly, it's not Jeremy. I forgot to change that. Let's change that real fast. That is Rick. My mistake. Let's play that again. All right, so Rick. Rick submitted the 1954 Stahl-Meyer Franks of Whitey Lockman, and this is a very special set, near and dear to my heart, as I have the Willie Mays sitting right in here with me, and I did a whole video on the Stahl-Meyer history, and definitely worth a watch. They have a whole website dedicated to talking a lot about the Stahl-Meyers. So, some background. Stahl-Meyer became the official hot dog of the Yankees, the Dodgers, and the Giants during this time. And so they would package their hot dogs with these cards featured inside. And, a lot of these would get tossed aside. They'd get ripped in, you would open up the package of hot dogs, which were packaged frozen, and the card would rip and have tears in them. And when, if they were left inside and the hot dogs were, defrosted, the card would get damaged from all the juices. And so, which is the funny going conversation about the hot dog stains. But, listen, these are not easily found. I only know a handful of dealers that have had these. And so whenever I do see them, I always make it an effort to showcase them in my card show videos. I've had two over the span of my collecting. I've had a Monty Irvin, and now I have my Willie Mays from the same year. And again, it's, Rick was talking about this a while ago with me and told me he had this. And so the 54 Stahl-Meyer Franks Whitey Lockman, pop report of only 2. Rick has the only one and a 1, and there's one higher. So, again, that shows you the rarity and the specialty of these cards. I've seen them raw before. I don't know if I've seen the Whitey Lockman raw, but I know, they're out there, but, you really have to go to some of the bigger shows like the National to see them. But thank you, Rick, as always, for showcasing what you have for us. I imagine you will definitely show this in one of your own videos, Rocket Rick. For those that are unfamiliar, Rocket Rick, his YouTube channel is full of wonder. So please go and check out his channel. So let's go back to this. So the showcasing of cards. Right. Make my camera a little bit bigger. There we go. So, as I mentioned, guys, I do have a card to showcase for you. I showed this on the Vintage Chillin' Chat 2 nights ago. It's my Willie Mays 53 to 55 Howard photo service card. And what makes this card special is that this was endorsed by, or compliments of, the 7-Up Bottling Company of Minneapolis. Now, I don't know where 7-Up was in terms of their distribution. I'd imagine it seems like at the time they were only regional in Minnesota area versus like, the Coca-Cola, which, you could clearly see there was a lot more money put into this tab or this Test Tips card, a lot more printing, a lot more pizzazz into this than this postcard. But because obviously this postcard was definitely serviced out to the Howard Photo Service in New York City, and then I guess it was used to distribute as a postcard throughout the Minnesota area, is my guess. Now, this one I got on a Facebook group recently. I plan on sending this into SGC at the Philly show. The Pop Report is definitely, I think, under for the 7-Up, because this one can come with the 7-Up logo or 7-Up printing here on the back, or it can come as a blank. And as excuse me, as far as this postcard goes, this has some writing on it, and so I was curious, what was written on there, and what was the message, how, trying to decipher, trying to decode it, and I was able to do that. So, excuse me, it sounds like it's written to somebody named Woody or Waddy or Toddy or something, but I think it writes, "Hi, Waddy. I'll send these to you, and I'd like it a lot if you give me Stan Musial." That's what it looks like on the bottom. That this postcard you could see it was not posted in the mail. But the purpose was to trade this for a Stan Musial. Now, Stan Musial's not in this set, so it must have been for a card or some sort. And that, to me, was probably the basis of the trade. I don't know if it happened or not, but hopefully it did. But anyway, cool looking card. Add to the collection. Send it in for grading. We'll see how it goes. But thank you guys so much for watching, as always. If you're interested in submitting your own card to showcase on the start of the week next week, email's right above. Send me thundercards@gmail.com. Appreciate you guys watching. I'll catch you soon. Take care.